much more than that, if anything more than that. So we want to just give you a nice overview of the program and answer any questions you have. And then I am very available by email or by phone afterwards to continue talking about things if you have more questions or things come up after this call. But first, let me give you a giant welcome to this call. We're really excited about the Good Food Force. It's, as you may have realized, a very new idea of ours. And, all the folks at Moms Rising and I are just really thrilled to see what comes out of this group. The Good Food Force volunteers are moms and dads and grandparents and family members who go the extra mile to get the word out about childhood obesity, school foods, and junk food marketing to kids. Together with Moms Rising staff, including me, they help advocate for healthier kids and families. We know you're all really, really busy, so again, we're very excited that you've taken the time to join this call, and thank you so much. So we have a few goals for this time together. The first is to just go through the program objectives and what we're thinking for this fall. The second is to talk about what the team is actually going to do, what support you'll get, what materials you'll get, what options you have, how you'll all get to know each other, and so on. Then to leave some time for questions, and finally to talk about next steps. And again, we're hoping to do all of this in about a half an hour, so we should be off by 8:30. So the Good Food Force is a program of the food justice team of MomsRising.org. And I know all of you are familiar with Moms Rising because that's how you saw this opportunity. But I'll give you a few minutes, or maybe a minute or two, on who we are and what we do. Moms Rising is a multicultural, nonpartisan, online, and on-the-ground grassroots organization of more than 1 million people working to achieve economic security for all families in the United States. We listen to our constituency and focus advocacy where we can most quickly improve family economic security, including advocating for affordable, quality early care and education, paid family leave, flexible work options, and for an end to the wage and hiring discrimination which penalizes so many mothers. Moms Rising also advocates for health care for all, toxic-free environments, healthy school foods, as you all know, and breastfeeding rights so that all children can have a healthy start. My name is Karen Showalter. I'm a member of the Food Justice team, and I've been with Moms Rising for about a year. I'm also the point person for the Good Food Force. I've been working on social justice issues and in the broader realm of online organizing for about a decade, both within the U.S. and abroad. And I live in Pennsylvania. I have a 4-year-old son who's already encountering the incredible pressures around food, both in school and in the media. So I'm really passionate about this issue as well, and we'll be participating in all of the Good Food Force activities alongside all of our Food Force volunteers. More broadly, just so you folks know, the Food Justice team has 6 other team members who you'll certainly meet virtually over the coming months. You may recognize some of their names from the emails you get from us, Monifa and Donna and Dream and Anaya and a few others. So there's quite a team of us, and we're all excited to work with you, and we're hoping that we'll all get to know each other well. So moving on to the Good Food Force. You folks have very bravely expressed interest in an idea that we shared with you in about 4 bullet points by email. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about what we've been thinking. Moms Rising has a very successful model for mobilizing families to take action around key issues facing women, children, families, and communities. We do a number of things consistently throughout all of our programs that you may notice, you may have participated in, and you'll certainly get to know better through the Good Food Force. The first is online mobilizing of family and mom voices around key issues. We do a lot of online petitions, and we deliver these to decision makers. We see ourselves as the link between families and moms, and again, we have over 1 million members, and decision makers taking action around any number of the key challenges that I mentioned earlier. So we have a very strong online presence. The food team in the past year, for example, has gathered over 20,000 signatures from our members, brought them together with signatures from other partner organizations, and delivered them to the USDA in support of healthy snacks and drinks in schools. Together, Moms Rising and our partners delivered over 200,000 comments and signatures just a few months ago. And that had a tremendous impact on the USDA's decision around implementing healthier school snack standards. So this act of bringing moms together with decision makers and helping amplify the mom and the parent voice is a core thing that we do. Also in the online space, we do tweet chats every Friday. These are our Food Friday tweet chats. You may have seen us talk about those. We're always covering different topics relating to school foods and healthy families. We usually reach several million people through these chats and have had some really exciting topics, including special guests like John Legend last May. Another thing that we do a lot of is gathering stories from parents and families across the nation. You may have also noticed these requests for moms to share their stories. And by the way, we're not, we are called Moms Rising. We know many of our members are not moms. So I happen to say it by default, but please understand we mean, families and grandparents and siblings and everybody who has an interest in family economic security issues. So gathering the voices and the stories of families is another core activity of ours. And these are a really successful tool for us to bring to decision makers to help them understand what families really feel about core issues facing all of us. And the Good Food Force is intended to be a team that uses any or all of these tactics to amplify families' voices around two key issues facing us this fall. And I'm going to run through those somewhat quickly now, but I'm also going to send you some information after this call about both of them, so you can learn more about kind of the nuts and bolts of the key issues we're hoping to mobilize around. In a nutshell, they are supporting the new regulations coming out of the USDA around school meals and competitive foods, and pushing back against junk food marketing to kids. So again, these are two core objectives of the Moms Rising Food Justice Team this year and of the Good Food Force. And using all of the tools I just mentioned, whether it's gathering stories or gathering petition signatures or using social media, we are planning to really raise our voices collectively this fall around both of these issues. So quickly on healthy school meals. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has recently finalized updated nutrition standards for the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program. The new standards are intended to make school meals even healthier. We know that healthier kids are less likely to get diabetes or heart disease, and are more likely to live longer and healthier lives. Healthy school meals also help students stay focused and be ready to learn in the classroom. These new standards went into effect last school year, and as of this fall, about 70% of schools nationwide are in compliance. So our work this fall will involve helping schools understand the new standards, providing resources to help them meet the standards, and reminding them that moms and families really support these changes. We know that over 80% of parents support healthy foods in schools. And so again, through this act of telling the mom's story and amplifying families' voices, we're able to remind schools that we're really watching them and we're really hoping they're going to step up and implement these new standards. Our second key focus is around junk food marketing to kids. The total spent on food marketing to kids is about $2 billion a year. It's a shocking figure. Companies market food to kids through TV, radio, internet, magazines, product placement, schools, toys, clothing. I'm sure you've all seen much of this. According to a comprehensive review by the National Academy Institute of Medicine, studies demonstrate that television food advertising affects kids' food choices, their purchase requests, their diets, and their health. And all of us as parents know from our own experience that ads and cartoon characters on food packages affect not only which foods our kids ask us to purchase, but which foods they're willing to eat. So our work this fall is targeting Nickelodeon, which reaches millions of young viewers daily through its television channels, websites, games, and characters. Over 40% of TV ads seen by kids aged 14 and younger are broadcast on Nickelodeon or Viacom, which is their parent company. And the company does not have a policy for food marketing to children. Although Nickelodeon has taken some steps forward, it has a long way to go. So together with a large coalition of like-minded groups, we're asking Nickelodeon to implement a transparent policy for marketing to kids that includes strong nutrition standards for all advertising and marketing through their child-directed media. And we know this can be done because Disney has just implemented a strong and effective policy around marketing to kids. So Disney is very much an example that we're challenging Nickelodeon to emulate. So again, I'm going to send you information on both of these topics after the call, but I wanted to give you a few more details on the two big objectives, or we could even say the two big fights that we're waging this fall, and certainly not fights in a combative sense, but, the big goals of our work here at Moms Rising on the food team and of the food force, will be around the school meal standards, reminding schools these are important and parents are eager to help them implement them, and raising the pressure around Nickelodeon and their marketing policies towards kids. So, what will the food force actually do? We know, again, that everybody is incredibly busy, and our planning for this team has been very much taking that into account. We anticipate having a lot of flexibility for team members to participate in activities that make sense for them and that they have time to do. So we've proposed a list of example activities that Moms Rising Food Force volunteers could opt into. They include delivering a Moms Rising storybook, so again, the voices of moms and parents, to schools, putting the pressure on around implementing the healthy school standards. We produce these storybooks all the time. They're a really effective tool. We're planning a big delivery drive in late September and early October. A second really obvious option would be recruiting friends and family to sign a petition encouraging Nickelodeon to stop marketing junk food to kids. That could be something you do through a listserv or a hard copy you take to a playgroup or your kids' class or wherever you happen to run into friends you think would be interested. Certainly sharing information about any and all of these topics via social media or your blog if you're an active blogger, and leading conversations around healthy school foods and childhood obesity in your community. Maybe there's a listserv you normally talk about these things through, or a coffee chat group, maybe writing a letter to the editor of your local paper. Again, everything will fit into stuff you already do, places you already are, and communities in which you think you can bring these conversations successfully. The plan is that every month we'll send out a few options, and Food Force volunteers will simply indicate which ones they can help out with. Although it's clearly going to vary between activities, we're thinking the total time commitment per month isn't more than an hour or two. But again, that will depend on which ones you select, how much time you want to put into them, and how much you personalize them. We're going to provide you lots of support materials. You can take those and completely, personalize them for a community, for your neighborhood, for your friends, and so all of those things will have an impact on how long your commitment will actually take. Again, or I actually don't think I've said this, but the thought is that volunteers will sign up for at least 2 activities this fall. So even though we'll send out a few options every month, that does not mean you have to do activities every month. It means maybe you'll do the back-to-school delivery one month, and then another month you'll share some information about Nickelodeon via your blog. It's that easy. We're looking over the next 4 months as the first round of this work, so from September to December. And the final thing I'll share is just the kinds of support we're expecting offering the volunteers. We know that many of you are very passionate about this issue, so many of you will be very comfortable speaking about it with friends and family. At the same time, we can provide hard copies of any materials. For example, the back-to-school storybook I mentioned. If you'd like a hard copy of the petition to Nickelodeon, things like that, we can send to you in the mail so you have them in hand. Certainly sample meeting scripts or email language, even if you just want to forward an announcement about something going on to a listserv you're on, we can give you sample email language you can use and personalize so that you feel, as comfortable as possible sending that out. Same with social media content. We'll have some generic Facebook and Twitter content you can take and adapt and use on your own pages as you choose, and certainly background information on all of these issues. You'll most likely receive these once you sign up for a monthly action so that we don't overwhelm everybody's inboxes with materials around things you may not actually be using. So, for example, if you indicate you want to help with the back-to-school storybook delivery, we'll schedule a call with everybody participating in that activity, send people a hard copy of the storybook, and also send you a script to use so that when you go into your school's office, you have the pitch, if you will, that you would want to say to whoever it is you're meeting with. More broadly, we are going to organize monthly online chats with experts that are totally optional, but ways for you to learn more about these issues. You'll get a virtual badge you can post on your website or your blog if you like. Lots of recognition for this group on the Moms Rising webpage and in our broader social media work. And finally, we're really hoping that this is an experience that helps you grow as advocates and just concerned citizens taking action on this issue. We're hoping that you feel more confident leading change in your community, talking about school foods and childhood obesity and junk food marketing. Certainly that you'll meet other cool parents participating in this volunteer experience, and that you have fun and build skills. We are going to be setting up a Facebook group for this team. You'll have ways to get to know each other and share ideas and successes and things you've done with each other. And we will have regular calls. As I was mentioning to a few people who were on early, we're still filling out the best call times, but they will certainly rotate between weekends, daytime, and evening, knowing that people are in different time zones and have different commitments at different points of the day and the week. So we'll really fill out times that will work for everybody, if not every single call, at least most of the time. So that's the Good Food Force in a nutshell. Again, I'm going to send you more information on the actual issues we talked about on school foods and junk food marketing to kids. I can share this presentation with folks after the call for those who haven't seen it. It really has just been some photos and some key bullets from what I've been saying. And I'll check in with all of you by email just to see if you have any additional questions. But we have a few minutes now, and I would love to hear if people do have questions. You have a chat window right on your the browser window that you're looking at. And that's maybe the easiest way to start is if people have questions, just chat them in there, and I'll read them out, and I can address them so the whole team can hear. Let's see. Any questions from the group? And Jesse, I see a question about the PowerPoint. I'm not sure what you're seeing, but I'll share it so you can be sure that you've seen the whole thing. It sounds like you're seeing the right version. It's pictures with a few bullets of text next to them. It also may have taken a little bit of time to load on your screen, but I'll share it with you as well so you can take a look and see if there's anything you missed on the slides. Any other questions from folks? All right. Well, I am very available. You folks have seen my email, hopefully. It's Karen@MomsRising.org. Sometimes when we send the big national emails, you'll notice the reply to is the info@MomsRising.org email. That's just to prevent, thousands of out-of-office messages from overwhelming inboxes. So remember, if you reply to anything, make sure you have my name in it, just Karen@MomsRising.org. I think a real next step for folks is, there's no obligation on this call. We've presented this to you as an opportunity to learn more about the program. So it would be great if folks could think a little bit more about it, think about the kinds of activities I've suggested we'll be doing this fall, and let me know if you're interested. We are really excited to launch this program. It's a new one for the food team, and we have full confidence that the sky's the limit as far as what we can do together around these important issues. A final note I'll mention is that this is a new program, so we know there are going to be tweaks and adjustments we have to make. So we're very, very excited to evolve this program so it's as family-friendly and participant-friendly as possible. Let's see. Okay, so there is a question from Angie. So Angie says, I would love to get all of this out there at my son's school. Can you tell us how we can start a group about this at our school? Not only with the petition, but with reaching out for more help. So yes, Angie, I think what we will be able to provide you are a series of key moments that we're talking about and materials you can use to talk about them. So if you want to start a group, for example, of parents at your school to talk about healthy school foods, there is a really strong set of resources we can provide you to do that, not only around the Healthy, Hunger-Free Kids Act, which is kind of the basis for all of these new standards, but around the school meal standards. There are new standards around junk food in schools, and there's lots of materials out there about how schools can effectively meet these new guidelines. So we could go as deep as you want to go. If you want to circulate a petition, that's great. If you want to start having weekly conversations with parents about these issues, we can certainly provide you the materials you'd need for that too. So anywhere along that spectrum as far as how involved you want to get and what you want to do with a group, a local group that you might start. Any other questions? All right. Well, please do stay in touch. By the way, I can see everybody's phone number who's called in, but not necessarily your name. So if you do email me and you want to talk more about the program, please just remind me of who you are. Because I see all your phone numbers, I see all your zip codes and all of that, but I don't necessarily see who exactly has been on this call. So make sure you do that. And again, we're really ramping up to get some of this going pretty soon. So think about it. Email me. I'm happy to talk by phone further if you have more questions. And thank you all so much for joining tonight. We're really excited to have such interest in this program. We've had about 250 people express interest in it, which is just very, very exciting. It does not mean they're all going to do it, but that's the number of people we're talking to about it. So we're confident we're going to have a really fun team on board for the fall. So again, my email is Karen@MomsRising.org. Please email me. We can always set up a call. We'll talk further. And with that, I will release you to enjoy the rest of your evening. If you were interested in the Moms Rising Near You call, which is a meetup program that we're starting, that is also happening tonight, and that's happening at 8:30. We know we have multiple calls tonight, so if there's any confusion around that, this is not that call. But I think you guys all know that. But that call is starting in a few minutes, so you have time to jump over to that one as well if you like. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll just look on the line for a few minutes in case any other questions come up. But otherwise, please send me an email, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.